I trusted them, and they turned me into a monster. They said they cared. They said they were there for me. I gave them my trust, my heart, my soul. I gave them everything I had to offer, but what did they give me in return? Lies, deception, betrayal. I opened the door to my world, and they stormed in like thieves in the night, taking pieces of me that I can never get back. They left me bleeding, shattered. Wondering what I had done to deserve such cruelty, I asked myself, over and over again, was it my fault? Was I too naive, too trusting, too blind to see their true intentions? But deep down, I knew the truth. It wasn't me, it was them. They were the ones who turned my kindness into a weapon against me, who used my vulnerability as a stepping stone for their own gain. They broke me. They destroyed the person I once was. But they didn't realize one thing. They didn't realize that from the ashes of who I was, something new would rise. Something stronger, darker, and unstoppable. In the beginning, I was like everyone else, hopeful, innocent. I believed in the goodness of people, in the power of connection, in the promise of loyalty. I thought the world was a place where kindness was rewarded, where love conquered all, where trust was sacred. But the world is none of those things. The world is a battlefield, and the people you trust the most are often the ones holding the knife behind their backs. They wait for the moment you turn around, the moment you're at your most vulnerable, and then they strike. The pain is sharp, sudden, and unforgiving. It leaves scars that no one else can see, wounds that never fully heal. The betrayal didn't happen all at once. It was subtle at first, like a shadow creeping across the floor. A lie here, a broken promise there. I ignored the signs, convinced myself it was all in my head. After all, these were the people I trusted, the people I loved. How could they possibly betray me? But the truth has a way of revealing itself, no matter how deeply it's buried. And when it finally did, it hit me like a freight train. Everything I thought I knew was a lie. The people I thought I could rely on had been playing me for a fool all along. The pain was unbearable. It wasn't just the betrayal that hurt. It was the realization that I had been so blind, so stupid, so utterly wrong about the people I thought I knew. I felt like a part of me had died, like the person I was before could never exist again. And maybe that was true, because in that moment, something inside me shifted. The pain turned into anger, and the anger turned into something darker, something more powerful. I realized that I couldn't go back to who I was, and I didn't want to. The person I used to be was weak, naive, and easy to manipulate. That person was gone. In their place was someone new. Someone who had learned the hard way that trust is a luxury, that kindness is a risk, and that love can be a weapon in the wrong hands. I started to rebuild myself, piece by piece. But I wasn't the same. Every piece was sharper, harder, more resilient. I learned to rely on myself, and no one else. I learned that the only person I could truly trust was me. The world didn't owe me kindness, and I didn't owe it to anyone either. The people who had betrayed me had taught me a valuable lesson, that the only way to survive in this world is to be stronger than the ones who try to break you. And that's exactly what I became. The transformation wasn't easy. It was painful, messy, and filled with moments of doubt and fear. But every time I felt like giving up, I reminded myself of the pain they had caused me, of the person they had turned me into. I used that pain as fuel, as motivation to keep going, to keep fighting, to keep rising. I didn't just survive. I thrived. I became everything they feared, everything they tried to suppress. I became the monster they created. But this monster wasn't their puppet. This monster was free, powerful, and unapologetic. Now, when I look in the mirror, I see someone who has been through hell and come out stronger on the other side. I see someone who doesn't need anyone's approval or validation. I see someone who has embraced their darkness and turned it into strength. They may have broken me, but they didn't destroy me. In fact, they did the opposite. They made me unstoppable. They made me realize that I don't need them or anyone else to define who I am. I define myself, and I've chosen to be someone who can't be broken, someone who can't be stopped. So to those who betrayed me, who lied to me, who broke my trust, thank you. Thank you for showing me the truth about the world. Thank you for teaching me that I can only rely on myself. Thank you for turning me into the monster I am today, because this monster doesn't need your love, your approval, or your forgiveness. This monster stands tall, unshaken, and unapologetic, and this monster will never be controlled by anyone, ever again. But let me make one thing clear. Being the monster they created doesn't mean I've lost my humanity. It means I've redefined it. My humanity is no longer bound by their expectations, their definitions, or their limitations. It's mine now. I decide what it means to be human. I decide what it means to be strong. I decide what it means to survive, and that's something they will never understand. Because they've never had to fight for their survival. They've never had to claw their way out of the darkness. They've never had to rebuild themselves from the ground up. They've never been broken the way I was. Every scar on my soul is a reminder of what I've been through, of what I've overcome. Every wound is a badge of honor, proof that I've faced the worst this world has to offer and come out stronger on the other side. I wear my pain like armor, not as a sign of weakness, but as a testament to my strength, because every time they tried to break me, every time they tried to tear me down, I rose again, stronger, harder, unstoppable, and now, they can't touch me, they can't hurt me, they can't break me, because I built walls they will never be able to tear down. I've created a fortress they will never penetrate. I've become someone they can't control, someone they can't manipulate, someone they can't destroy. Do you know what's ironic? The very thing they feared, the very thing they tried to suppress, is the very thing they created. They were so afraid of my strength, my resilience, my ability to rise above, that they tried to snuff it out before it could fully bloom. But in doing so, they only made it stronger. They only made me stronger. They thought they could control me, but they were wrong. They thought they could break me, but they underestimated me. They thought they could define me, but they didn't realize that the only person who gets to define me is me. I've stopped looking for answers in their actions, stopped seeking closure from their betrayal. The closure I needed came from within. It came from accepting that some people are simply incapable of love, incapable of loyalty, incapable of being anything other than what they are. And that's not my burden to carry. That's not my weight to bear. My only responsibility is to myself, to the person I've become, to the life I'm building, and I refuse to let their actions dictate my future. I refuse to let their betrayal hold me back. I refuse to let their lies define my truth. Every step I take now is a step toward freedom, toward strength, toward a life that is mine, and mine alone. I've stopped looking back, stopped dwelling on the pain they caused, stopped giving them the power to hurt me. They don't deserve my anger, my tears, my pain. They don't deserve anything from me, because they lost that right the moment they betrayed me. They lost that right the moment they showed me who they really are. And I've learned to believe them. I've learned to see them for what they are. Cowards, liars, manipulators. But me, I'm none of those things. I'm stronger than they ever will be. I'm braver than they could ever imagine. I'm everything they tried to destroy, and more. To anyone out there who feels like I did, who feels lost, betrayed, and broken, listen to me. I know the weight you're carrying. I know the nights you spend staring at the ceiling, wondering where it all went wrong. I know the questions you keep asking yourself, trying to understand why the people you trusted the most turn their backs on you. You feel like the ground beneath you has crumbled, like the world is a storm that won't let up. You feel like you're drowning in a sea of pain and despair, and no one even notices. But I want you to hear this. You are not alone in your fight. You are not powerless. The fire that burns inside you, no matter how small it feels right now, is still there. And that fire is your strength. It doesn't matter how many times they've tried to extinguish it. It doesn't matter how much they've hurt you, or how many pieces they've left you in, because the truth is, you have the power to take every ounce of pain they've inflicted on you and turn it into something they can't control, something they can't destroy. Take your time to grieve. It's okay to cry, to scream, to feel every ounce of the betrayal that's been thrown at you. Don't bottle it up. Let it flow. Let it burn through you. And when you're ready, when you've let it all out, stand up. Stand up not as the person you used to be, but as the person you are now. Stronger, wiser, fiercer. They want you to believe you're nothing without them. They want you to crumble under the weight of their betrayal. Don't give them that satisfaction. Don't let their actions define you. Instead, let your response define who you are. Use their betrayal as the forge that molds you into something greater. You don't owe anyone an explanation. You don't owe anyone your trust or your forgiveness. What you owe is to yourself. You owe yourself the chance to build a life where you stand tall, where you're not dependent on anyone to validate your worth. You owe yourself freedom from their lies, their manipulation, and their power over you. So if you're sitting there, questioning your worth, wondering if you'll ever feel whole again, remember this. You already have everything you need within you. The strength you're searching for isn't out there. It's inside you, buried under the pain, waiting for you to uncover it. This isn't the end of your story. It's the beginning of a new chapter, a chapter where you reclaim your power, where you rebuild yourself into someone they can't touch, can't break. So stand up. Be the person they never thought you could be. Be the person who doesn't need them, who doesn't fear them, who doesn't even look back. You're not their victim. You're not their puppet. You're a force of nature. Unstoppable and unapologetic. This is your story. Your life. Take it back. Make it yours.